I am pretty confident that I'm an above average looking guy, even if it's just slightly above average. I'm American, purely for your information. I have a decent job, and I really feel like I have a good personality. I'm social, but it seems to me like not many others are these days. But when it comes to romantic relationships, I flat out won't chase a woman, period. For example, if I initiate with a woman, let's say 3 or 4 times in a row, at places we frequent, like a weekly running group or work, if they don't initiate the next time, we will never talk again. Even if they were all smiles and I felt a vibe, if they don't initiate the next time, I will just assume they were just being nice and don't want me bothering them. So we will never interact again in life unless they say hello and start a conversation. If they are someone I consider out of my league in terms of attractiveness, I won't even try to interact with them. Honestly, I feel that even on the off chance they are into me, they'll make it harder than it needs to be. And if I end up in a relationship with them by the grace of God, they'll just end up entitled and guilt trip me for anything they do that I don't like. I do not care if this means I'm single until I die. I don't say this for any kind of attention. I just genuinely wonder how many men out there just won't try with women because they feel like it's a complete waste of time and effort. Edit. I posted this because it has gotten back to me on more than one occasion that the women in question were upset that I all of a sudden never talked to them again, even though I had initiated interactions in places we both frequent. One was work, the other was a running club like 4 or 5 times. People are nuts. Story 1. Pretty similar, except my cutoff is 3, not 2, and I wouldn't go all never talk again. I would just stop pursuing. Women who are out of my league I'm pretty neutral about. I'll interact. I just won't make the first move. I did manage to date a woman who was objectively a 9 out of 10. Didn't really know how that happened until she stole my car, drove it drunk across 3 state lines, and crashed it in a ditch. So, there's a lesson in everything. Story 2. I wouldn't try to initiate a possibly romantic relationship with women who haven't given me any kind of indication they would be receptive to it. I know conventional wisdom is that men have to chase, but to me, if I have to chase someone, that means they don't want to be caught. Also, I've seen the way women act around men they are genuinely interested in. They're receptive. They initiate. They make it easy. If I have to initiate everything, that tells me that she's just not that into me, so I stop. I'm not wasting my time trying to win her over. Now I'm fairly unattractive, so this may mean I die single, but I'm all right with that. At least I can spend my life doing things I enjoy instead of going through repeated rejection. Story 3. This is just one of those self-conflicting intersections of people's beliefs that tends to exist in the collective blind spot. As a man, at the same time, you are expected to be socially aggressive enough to pursue, irrespective of social risk, but also be sensitive enough to intuit the woman's perception of you. Despite the fact that interest and disinterest often exhibit in the same behavior, that is, mind read. Be invested enough to pursue authentically, but uninvested enough to be outcome independent in case of rejection. Be casual enough that you are not pushy or overly eager, but also direct enough that you pull the communication weight as both involved adults. Be present enough that you can demonstrate that you are invested, but aloof enough that you give her space to come to you or do not come across as overly attached. The list goes on and on. At the end of the day, it is a tightrope game. Do not feel bad that you do not get it. Most men do not. The rules of engagement are not linear, and there is no real shame in things not working out, outside of you torturing yourself over it. Story 4. I'm pretty much the same as what you described. I have a 2-text rule. If I text and you don't respond, I'll assume it was bad timing to get back to me. If you don't respond to a text the next day, I'll never talk to you again. Short story. I met a girl at a wedding in September, and we really hit it off. We talked for a week, and I asked her out. She said she wanted to but had prior plans, no big deal. We talked for a while. I asked her out again, but she said it was her brother's birthday, yet she really wanted to see me. I left for vacation, and when I got back home, I asked to just meet for coffee. She really wants to but just can't find time. There's no way she's that busy or can't even find a half hour to spend with me, who she claims to really enjoy my company. I've never spoken to her again. Why bother? Story 5. Define chase. I give girls a certain amount of time after a date to follow up. If I'm interested and they haven't reached out, I will try initiating contact. If it becomes a persistent behavior after 2 or 3 dates and the prior date went well, I'm out. Story 6. But when it comes to romantic relationships, I flat out won't chase a woman, period. As in, if I initiate with a woman twice in a row and they don't initiate the next time, we will never talk again. If they are someone I consider out of my league when it comes to looks, I won't even try to interact with them. Eliminate leagues in terms of looks, and you definitely won't be single for long. Now, a woman with thousands of followers, a streaming girl online, is the only type of woman I will not bother with. Story 7. You go further than I do. I engage, and if they cut it off, I don't try again. I did that once before and looked like a fool. Several women over the years came back and told me how upset they were that no meant no. They wanted me to chase them, and I just disappeared. Even when they came back around, I wasn't mean. You said no. So that is a no. No always means no. Maybe always means no. And sometimes yes means no. I didn't set these foolish rules, you said them. I heard you and thought, well, I'm ugly, what else is new? Story 8. I am the exact same way, that's wild how similar. Although it is more lonely, it is fulfilling because I sit and wonder as much as it seems others do. Why would you chase a girl that is not reciprocating? And when it is a girl that is reciprocating, it is very rewarding because I do not have to wonder if she is into me, because she is telling me she is with her actions. You seem to have a logical approach to talking and dating, so I would keep with it. Story 9. Same. If I text or call a girl and don't get a response, done. I pay for first and second dates. If she doesn't at least offer to pitch in or pay for the third altogether, done. I spend zero time or mental effort on such nonsense. Story 10. Gay guy here, but pretty much the exact same. I'll definitely initiate conversation with a guy I'm interested in, even if he's out of my league, laugh out loud. But I'm not the type of guy that's ever going to chase someone I'm interested in. I may reach out a couple of times, but I won't really put any more effort in beyond that. If I don't feel there's mutual interest, I move on. Not only because I have self-respect, but also because the feeling of having to chase someone that I'm interested in who's not reciprocating is kind of a turnoff for me. Like most men, I want to feel wanted. Otherwise, I'm perfectly happy being single. Story 11. Mine was 3, not 2, but yeah. And we are all human, and relationships are not sports. There are no leagues. You simply never know when or why chemistry will suddenly connect two people and love happens. Story 12. Your second paragraph speaks volumes and, to me, is the right way to approach dating, and I typically do that too. I wish more men were like that. Whenever I have mentioned things like that on Reddit, all I get are excuses or, it's just one more message, or, you have nothing to lose by following up. Even when a woman has clearly ghosted or rejected them. This mentality is why a lot of men can't get women. Scarcity mentality. Story 13. That's not a bad rule, though I don't think putting people in leagues is a healthy mindset. I've seen plenty of average and even conventionally unattractive-looking guys with attractive girlfriends, and vice versa. You should put in as much effort as you get out, no more, no less. Story 14. Funny how both sides don't want to bother each other but still expect to follow up. The key here is to let them know you want to date them. Most girls will not initiate, period. Story 15. It's the paradox of choice, and the prettier women tend to be addicted to the validation and attention they get on the internet. Look at the absolute decline of birth rates in marriage. Generally, people are hitting milestones later and later in life. It's not just your fault. It's a society-wide problem. My advice is to first meet as many women in real life as possible. Not by hitting on them, you can just have conversations with them, and sometimes it evolves into a dating opportunity. It's also just good practice to be able to chat with a woman like a normal person. I personally like Instagram because it's a very low-impact tool for nurturing loose connections. A heart on a story, a reply every once in a while. It's a lot easier and takes the pressure off the situation. Finally, I agree with not chasing, but we all have off days, weeks, or months. You never know what is going on in someone's life, so while I agree that you should keep self-respect, don't write off someone for good just because of pride. You have a few options if they don't respond, but I'll either Leave it a bit and hit them with the "Hey stranger" after a couple of weeks. You can also send a breakup text. Generally, if you have met already, "Hey, I enjoyed meeting you but hadn't heard back from you. I don't know if something came up or if maybe this isn't the right fit, but I hope everything is okay." No hard feelings either way. Also, just enjoy experimenting, try different approaches. No one has all the answers. Story 16. Apparently, women who don't think they are in any way part of the problem will have a whole conversation, smile, be totally into it, and then have just been being nice the whole time. Then, the next girl, you're doing the same, and she's thinking, "Just ask me." And then you don't because the last girl tricked you. You don't ask because you're sure she's being nice, and she mentally dismisses you. Just have your conversations and move on. If they want to be all confusing, let them. That's not a failing on you. You approached, you held a conversation, you showcased your personality, and they did nothing and dropped the ball. That's not you. Story 17. I've never chased women. The only relationships with women that are worth having are the ones in which the women did the chasing. Only when a woman sees you as the prize will she not treat you poorly and make your life miserable. Women grow to hate men they feel they've settled for. They resent them for not being the man they actually wanted, and they find other reasons to punish him for it. Better to be single than to deal with that. Story 18. As a woman, if a man talks to me twice and then doesn't talk to me again, I'm just going to think I said something stupid and overthink every next conversation I have with you and how I probably messed up. Story 19. I have only ever dated women out of my league my entire life. But when I was younger, they were the ones approaching me mostly. Now that I'm older, I've learned that I have to put in more work. Women expect a lot more. The good ones do anyway. But I'm with you on not chasing. I will initiate as long as there is some reciprocation. If they drop out of my life, I will never contact them for as long as I live. If they're at least making an effort to make things work, then so am I, even if I'm putting in a little more effort. It's not something I'm keeping track of. Story 20. I am not interested in romantic relationships, and I don't have a high enough libido to feel the need to initiate anything with girls. But when they come up to me and hit on me in a club, if I like them, I sometimes hook up with them. Also, while I am not saying that you are not above average looking, most people think this of themselves. Like 90% of people rate themselves as 7 out of 10, so you might be aiming out of your league when looking for potential partners. Story 21. I'm the same these days. When I was in my 20s, I used to chase a lot with no outcome. Then I stopped doing it and chances started to appear out of the blue. I don't think it's luck. I think women can sense your despair, and it's a major turnoff. If you're chill and confident, you're much more likely to succeed. Story 22. Who dares sometimes wins. Who dares not forever loses. I'd rather take a small chance of success than a self-imposed failure by not trying. The out-of-your-league mentality is nonsense. I've known a lot of really good-looking women who were into unattractive men. You never will know until you try. Story 23. Unless you are a professional athlete or a celebrity of some kind, you need to pursue women if you want them. Women like being pursued. They like knowing they are wanted. And it shows you are worth the commitment. They put a lot of effort into being attractive to men, and it seems fair to me that we put a bit of effort into getting to know them. Sure, do not be a doormat or a pest. But also, do not drop the ball when you are 10 yards from the end zone. Yes, it would be great if it were a bit more equal, but it is not, and it will not ever be. Story 24. Would be nice to see the age. I think men over 35 are more proactive, but maybe I am mistaken. A couple of times, guys disappeared after 2 or 3 good dates with no sexual activity. I just thought they found someone better and didn't bother them. Story 25. What do you mean by initiate? Are you making your intentions clear? Are you making small talk a few times or asking the girl out to go on a date twice and they gave excuses? Story 26. While I agree with the principle, I wonder if there's maybe something more you could do besides simply initiating a conversation. How come you're not just straight up asking them out after you've established that there's a vibe? Also, what is the specific context here? How are you seeing the same women repeatedly? Is this at work or something? Story 27. My cutoff tends to be 3 consecutive, or if I hit that 2 to 3 consecutive a couple of times in a row. I don't care about league, though. If I like someone, that's all there is to it. It doesn't matter what their attractiveness or status is. If I'm into them, they'll get treated the same as anyone else I'm into. Story 28. If they are someone I consider out of my league hot, I won't even try to interact with them. I do not care if this means I'm single until I die. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky. Story 29. I'm on the same boat. I will not chase them forever. If they don't show interest back, I stop responding. Why would I waste my energy on someone who doesn't want to do the same? I'm fine on my own. I'm well off, and I just won't waste my time in constant pursuit of someone who doesn't give me anything back. No, your presence is not enough. You need to prove you are special in some way that will keep my attention and be worth my time as well. Story 30. Woman here. I agree with most of what you said, but what stands out to me is that everyone has different rules. And how do you know the preferred rules of the person you're dating if they don't tell you? By the way your post is written, you come across as pretty aggressive. In my experience, aggressive men are also confident, and many don't like pushy women. I typically have no issue initiating texts, but with these types of men, I have been put in my place for texting too much. So if I met you, I would default to letting you take the lead, which apparently is a mistake. So, I guess my question is, how do women who like you know that's what you'd prefer? How do you communicate it? Story 31. Honestly, I was born and raised in the United States, but like many other men, I am about done and completely sick of American women. Most have lost it. No matter what you do, you are insulting them. Cool, enjoy being alone forever. You are more worried about that than I am. Story 32. I mean, you talk to someone twice and then decide after that, if they don't seek you out, that they are not worthy of your time? Am I reading this right? Because this isn't how the world works, man or woman. It sounds like the only person closing the door in your face is yourself. Story 33. Yep. My go-to icebreaker if I want to initiate a friendship or even just open up a line of communication is to ask someone, I need help finding new songs for my playlist. What's your favorite song? This isn't the first thing I say. I mean, for people who I already know their name and they know mine. So far, one person has asked me the question back during a follow-up conversation about my opinion on the track in question. I'll wait a couple of days and come back with feedback, but if they don't care to ask me back or suggest a different or additional song, then I'm going to assume they don't really want to progress the conversation with me. I'm not really going to put in any more effort after that. Oh, I'm like a 6 or 7, maybe 8 after a good haircut or beard trim and with the right outfit.